And welcome to the post-game show. Oh, well, I'm the host, but I'll go ahead and let you do it.
We're live, pal.
We're live, pal. There's the one F-bomb. Anyway, welcome to the post-game show for the NoDQ.com Wrestling Trivia Challenge, or whatever the hell it's called. Championship tournaments, contender tournaments. There we go. I'm awake. Jeff Meacham, Greg Cherry. Man, you were not kidding about the
I need to
the
get
nail fighting in the teeth chattering.
I might not have it for very much longer. So I want to get it in the shot there. So
cradle the baby while you can. Holy bananas! Yeah.
So apparently, the combat wrestling trivia guys are no freaking joke.
Yeah. You were telling me that Matt Rosa is 19, and I said to Greg Brevy, yeah, granted, I knew that stuff at 19, but I was a freak. So, oh my God. Even Greg didn't know the Lord Humongous thing before he looked up himself. So the fact that this kid who, let's see, 19, that would have been 2000.
Yeah, he wasn't even born in the 90s. Like, no. that makes me like want to get a walker tomorrow.
Like, I was going to say, my spine is curving with each passing question on this show today. He was not alive when Sid had his active career, period. Mm-hmm. Let alone being Lord Humongous.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I do want to go over something.
Yes.
Which I did want to cover. For those who don't know, the editing process was a complete nightmare during this entire thing. Actually, before I get into that, I have to respond to a message from somebody. So.
Okay, that's okay.
If you want to talk about the quality of the match.
Yeah, so we have talked for a while about this match and the editing that was going into it, but the actual questions being answered and being asked and answered, I'm amazed. Like it took them. Neither one of them got stumped until like, what was it? Question 11, question 12. It was just something like that. It's amazing to me that, the three champions in the opening match, the triple threat, we all got stumped pretty early on in that 30 question series. Mm-hmm. These two just, and Colin with a very good point. He's 32 and feels dumb. I'm 38 and feel ancient and dumb at this point. Like, I'm just like,
I'm 34 and I think I got some studying to do before the championship match on episode 100.
Well, it's like we talked about yesterday on the Greg Cherry Show when you're doing the thing for the Buttman. You got to study your ECW and WCW, no question, because WWE owns those, Mm-hmm. So I was impressed that he got the Jerry Lynn question, because the Jerry Lynn question has stumped many of us as far as when Anarchy Rules, when that happened. I just happen to know it at this point. It's like embedded in my skull because I've hung out with Jerry so much. So, it only got me the World Championship match in Unbreakable, because nobody remembers anything but the triple threat.
It's completely forgotten about, because Raven versus Rhino, sure, that would be a good match, but hey, Daniels, Joe, AJ in the main event, it kind of belonged there.
Yeah, it's like when you're trying to compete for space in people's heads with the best match in TNA/Impact history, it's kind of a tough road to hoe. So.
Yeah. Anyway, and now that I messaged back, I was messaging Adam Blampier about filming the second round.
Oh, okay.
So that kind of took a little precedence.
Of course, for sure.
So the entire process of this match was actually recorded on Skype. And there were serious, it looked like, I'll get into that in a little bit. We recorded this on Skype. When I watched it back, there were so many audio issues that it was basically unwatchable. So what I had to do was extract the audio from the actual match. I put it into Audacity. I cleared out everything that I said. And just focused on what they said, because I can't re-record their stuff. I cut out everything that I said. I re-recorded my entire hosting performance on video.
What?
And I synced it up. I synced it up with the audio, writing down some of the stuff that they were saying. So I basically had cues to go along with so I could react accordingly. And then I had to replay that through StreamYard so I could put the questions in to look presentable. It was ridiculous.
Okay, so let me just throw it out there for everybody. This last week has not been good for production value on the Jeff Meacham Network, and unfortunately for Greg with his Skype video, the Greg Cherry brand. So the fact that Greg and Adam Contras, who is still he's uploading the footage that his cameras shot last Wednesday, so I could have some sort of anything to present. Because my phone, we've had this problem with my phone. You guys have watched when I first started doing live stuff last year, with the phone going volume like this and do the time throughout the whole show. It did it the entire 2.5 hours he and I were talking, and I don't know how to fix that without re-recording audio. And when you're, not to be blunt, but when you're sitting there drunkenly conversating between two people, you can't dub over that. There's no way to fix that. So God bless Adam. He had his camera running. He's doing that. To find out that Greg, what you guys saw, Greg was completely re-recorded. That is ridiculous talent. I can't stress enough how wonderful it is to have a guy like this on board doing this show, doing these things with us, doing the shows he does every week. And me being unreliable for stuff like this, stuff like Wrestling Rewind, is gross on my part. And people asking me all morning, what are you talking about in your post? I can't even get into it, but you are an amazing talent, and I'm just so glad that the match came off the way it did, because like we've talked about, we knew Ruben's match, whoever Ruben faced, was going to be a barn burner, because he's the one that gave us all pause last season. So but Matt Rosa, my goodness, like I don't envy anybody at this point. Yeah, whoever's opposite him in round 2 at all. I don't.
Well, I mean, it's either Louis Dangour of Wrestle Talk or Mr. Colin Andrew, who's in the chat. So, Colin, if you end up winning in a couple weeks here, you know what you're facing. Your work's cut out for you there.
Colin, you may want to let the missus know that you're going to have to be in study hall rather than daddy hall. My goodness, sequester yourself away.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
And the entire reason I put this much effort into this episode was because I knew, like, I saw the score of the match. Like, you guys saw the score of the match. It was 10-7 after 19 questions. I didn't even get through all 20. The skips weren't even used at all. So
yeah, that blew me away. No skips.
Yeah, no skips at all. I don't remember the last time we went an episode without using any skip. I'm sure it happened with me because I rarely use skips when I was ahead, which was all the time. But
I don't know if it's happened in your 1,000 days. I luckily barely had to use my skips going through because, but it's probably been since I was last champion that there was no skips used in an entire episode of the show, which again is just. That's that's over 3 years ago of a 4-year show history.
Yes.
So bravo to Ruben, bravo to Matt. I say it every week. I'm glad I'm sitting here and not in the hot seat over there.
Well, I'm in this seat right here with this in front of me looking all pretty. But here in a few weeks, like, it's going to be all on the line on episode 100. It's going to be a big deal. And a lot of people, I don't think, understand, like, to go all the way to, like, the milestone episode of this series as the champion is probably more pressure than I've had on me my entire reign.
Yeah.
Because I've defended the title 36 times. I've gone over that en masse.
Yeah.
But
oh yes,
the last tournament, I got taken to overtime. Mm-hmm. That doesn't happen very often with me. It's happened a couple times, and I've survived. I don't know if whoever wins this tournament if they take me to overtime or just straight up beat me.
Right.
I don't know. Like, this is, I've said it before. I feel like I dug my own grave, but we'll see how it all ends up in the long run. That's still a few weeks away. We don't know where we're going. I don't know. The thing is, like, looking at these guys and trying to find what their weaknesses are.
Yeah.
Matt Rosa's are very confusing. Like,
yeah.
The Survivor Series question that they both missed, I thought was a freaking layup.
See, even I got that wrong because I always forget that, unfortunately, 2009, despite being a two-time world champion, Punk kind of existed in the shadows until the straight edge stuff really started kicking into high gear.
Yeah.
So I forgot he was even on that team against Kofi's team. I didn't even remember that he was there in that match. So
yeah,
I was guessing DiBiase Rhodes too. So
yeah, I've seen so many top 10 videos about Survivor Series moments that you see Punk rolling up Kofi and then Kofi reversing it, pinning him, and then hopping right up, boom, Trouble in Paradise to Orton, 3 count, and it's over. Like him beating them in like 10 seconds total.
Right. Yeah, so, no memory of that whatsoever. 0.
Yeah.
That's correct. Again, yeah. It's funny. Like, you know, us, I don't want to call us old fogies, but, you know, us guys in our 30s or more, you know, watching these kids do this stuff, just, again, your spine curves, your hair grays, and you think you know your wrestling stuff, you just go, no. Oh, yeah. Funny, part of one of the things I held dearest as far as wrestling memories, you've heard me talk about this, that my first live show, my first live event, house show, whatever you want to call it, was in June of 91. It was a Desert Storm match in the main event, Hogan versus Slaughter. Mm-hmm. In purging our garage here this week in the house, I came across a box. I mean, like a freaking Amazon size, like it was shipping me a refrigerator box of sports tickets, mostly Kings. But part of it was wrestling tickets. So I'm like, oh, cool. All of a sudden, I come up 2 things. LA Sports Arena, May 4th, 91. I went, okay, I didn't know that. Wrestling, October 1990. My dad, apparently, 2 weeks into my fandom, saw my fever and brought me to the sports arena for an event. I don't recall that happening.
Wow.
So the fact that I had this in my head for 30 years that this was the way, as we say in Star Wars universe, and it wasn't. Nothing can be taken for granted. No knowledge, no history information, nothing. Edge's song always says, "You think you know me." I didn't even know me until yesterday, apparently. So these kids out here coming up into this tournament, and the old veterans, if you will, they're opposing them. Y'all need to study. If you guys think you know something, look again. Yeah. If you think you have memory retained in your head, you don't.
Yeah. So, and I'll preface what I'm about to say by saying you're right about that, because somewhere in this tournament, I've made mistakes. I've already made a mistake with a question in a tournament. Fortunately, it didn't affect the result. And one coming up, also the same thing, again, not affecting the result. I'm just letting you know, even the greatest wrestling trivia mind of all time is not perfect.
Yeah, but you may not be perfect, but the shirt still says what it says, and you can buy that shirt at teespring.com/store/Greg So make sure you guys buy that shirt. Buy this shirt. This comes in a rainbow color. It's the freaking Skittles of the Greg Cherry brand. It really is. It's like really every color with black or white text. So it's like double Skittles.
Yeah, I actually have, like, they're technically set up as 2 different shirts, because one of them has the white text, one of them has the black text. So it's really, hey, whichever way you want to go. Like, if you want the dark text on the white background, you can get that. If you want the light text on a dark background, you can get that. It's really up to you. If you want dark on dark, well, then make your own shirt.
And what I noticed, I noticed I was going through and buying the new Jeff Meacham Network logo that you designed through not the Kings one, the Back to the Future one. You have comfort and classic tees now on there, which I was like, yes, because it's funny. I bought myself and my dad what I thought was the only version, which was the classic tees on the Back to the Future. The blue Back to the Future one that Jeremy made up for me is that softer comfort feel fabric. I went, shit, because my dad's getting the classic one. It's going to be, even at 4X, it's going to be tighter around that big frame of his. So I'm like, son of a bitch.
You know what? I thank Nyla Rosa's wife for that suggestion, because like,
right?
we talked about that. We both follow each other on Twitter.
Right.
And I talked to her about it. I was like, I mean, what can I do to sell more shirts? And she was like, the comfort tees are like really popular. So I was like, okay. They cost a little bit more because of the comfier material, which was kind of unavoidable. I actually knocked down the price a couple bucks because it's like, listen, it's like, I want them to be affordable, but I don't want them to be like too like, it is what
not profitable either. So
I want to get like something out of it as opposed to like, but hey.
So I'm actually glad that came into my mind. It's live. We're at 6:35 Eastern here. If you're watching us live, which God bless you. What's up, Josh? I know you're talking to Greg, but I'm saying hi too.
Yep. I will actually be on Josh's podcasts. I think this weekend. We're recording this weekend.
Nice.
Talking about the Elimination Chamber. So
yeah.
And JB3 with the ultimate question. Jeff, would you ever want to play a match in CWT? I'll tell you what, you should check those out. You should really check out Combat Wrestling Trivia. And that's not just for you. It's for everybody out there. Because I'm involved in it. Cass is involved in it. A number of the people in this tournament are involved in it. It's a completely different format than just straight up 20 questions. Like this is basically like the classic wrestling trivia. You go back and forth. CWT is a little bit, I want to say, more flexible. I don't know if that's the word, but it's, I don't know. Help me, JP3, for crying out loud. How do you explain it? I'm terrible with explaining things. I've noticed. That's why I had somebody record the rules for us. It's like I'm terrible with explaining rules and all of that stuff.
Here's my thing with, and again, this is gonna sound like a cop out or a wuss out or whatever. Again, I thought I knew my stuff, because Aaron put me in there with Virtue in match one, and I coasted through most of my reigns. I'm not gonna lie, I did. And I'm not blaming Aaron for that, nor am I accusing Aaron of Mickey, trainer Mickey with Rocky and Rocky 3 or he was lobbing them up. I don't think he did that. I really don't think he did. But I just knew so much that these poor kids, come up against a juggernaut. I mean, really. Then I meet this guy, and he's been wiped me out for 3 years. I don't know if and again, this is getting a little heavy into the personal life here, but I'll go ahead and throw it out there. I don't know if the state of my brain right now is capable of handling a trivia match on film with pressure. There's a lot that goes into these trivia matches that people really don't realize, right? And part of it is the pressure. Sitting there in that pressure cooker, having to answer questions, having to, feel almost raw and exposed. Like, dude, I'm on the air with this intelligent person and I'm getting stomped, or I'm doing well and I'm going to get, it's a lot for me to process. And I'm not trying to, escape the fact that I did do a very good job for a very long time, but without going too far into detail, that guy is not this guy at this point. 4 years later, I'm not that same person. A lot's gone on with physical head issues for me. So maybe down the line, but I don't know, man. Like I said, sitting here watching Greg all this last season, having to come up with the questions myself was enough pressure in and of itself, right? So the mental space it would rent for me is not, I'm not sure if it's healthy. So and that's not, again, that's a little heavy for the room. I'm not going to lie, but it kind of is what it is, which is also a great trade brand, by the way. So
it's okay. So it's a maybe. Yeah, it's like I said, check out a couple matches. The Clash of the Combatants, I believe, starts this Monday on the Combat Wrestling Trivia channel, which I will be a part of the Clash of the Combatants in Block A, I believe.
Oh, nice.
It's basically kind of like the G1 for wrestling trivia.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to be having 9 matches. Matthew Rosa is actually in my block. So I might be seeing him more than once. But yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting show.
It's funny you mentioned the G1. 2 of the wrestling shirts I purchased through the help of the super chats the other night came in today. One was the classic New Japan logo shirt. I've never had one of those before. Wow. So I've had the Bullet Club shirt for a couple of years now, but I never had the classic Lion shirt. So they're now along with, I bought a Heather Gray NXT UK shirt just because it was different. So
right.
They're coming in, brother. Slow but sure.
I like my gray shirts, like my Greg Cherry brand, like one that looks like a branding iron. Like that one I really like in that gray, which I'll probably wear. I don't know. I actually have a shirt up here. And I want to put this, I'm kind of putting this out into the universe. I am not wearing that shirt until I'm on Quizlemania.
Wow.
Like it is such a great design. I love the design. You've seen it before, but I love the design so much. And it's kind of like a motivational thing. Like even if I make that bump trivia, I'm still not going to wear it because like it's my goal. It's like, hey, if I make the bump, then maybe, that'll, no pun intended, bump me up into the consideration. It's like, hey, you get the WWE rub. We want you on Quizlemania. I don't know. I'm probably just talking out my rear, but hey.
Well, it's funny with the gray shirts. When you design Stat Boy Sports Bar's logo with the classic bar look, I had choices when I bought my shirt, and it's like, you know what? I don't know why, but it's not up here. No, is it up here? Yeah, there it is. I don't know why, but the gray just popped with that white logo. Like, I don't know why, but it does. It looks so good. I was like, screw it, I'll get that. And it comes off really well. And, I wasn't searching the Greg Cherry brand for the WWE shirts because they don't have those because Greg doesn't want to get sued, obviously. So I found the NXT UK logo shirt.
I have so many parody shirts.
Right.
They're like on that border. But apparently Amazon doesn't like those parody shirts. And I'm like, man, piss off them.
Which sucked because I was like, damn it. And again, I don't mind having to pay Jeremy for the Rush job because it turned out really well. So it was all good. But I found the NXT UK shirt. I'm like, God, there's so many variations on that logo. I mean, but I have it's a Heather Gray shirt with the logo itself is black. It looks good. I can't wait to wear it when I do my recaps. If I end up doing those, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, by the way, we have a thank you, Colin. That's good. That's we have a little more time to bend with. That's good. Appreciate that. Thank you, sir. I'm good. I mean, I don't think we're gonna go too much past 7 anyway, but what is in store for this audience next week? Because after this week, I mean,
yeah,
so to have our throats, the lump come out of our throats,
Yeah. So next week, speaking of combat wrestling trivia, we have the very first CWT champion representing the No D crew over there with me and Cass, Andrew Hayes, the dude, taking on the only other person to take a wrestling trivia championship from me, Scott Gata. So that one, the winner of that faces Travis Fame. So that one's going to be a barn burner. And then concluding the first round in 2 weeks,
right?
Louis Dangor from Wrestle Talk, former Quizlemania champion, takes on No DQ's Colin Andrew. And the winner of that has the unenviable task of facing Matthew Rosa.
Yeah, see, that's the thing now. We're getting to the end of the first round. Now I guess thinking, okay, yeah, they're moving on, but who are they facing now? The second round is taking shape.
Yep.
So,
and I'm gonna have to dial it up here too, because like after the second round, I don't have as much time to kill between the second round matches because there's less of them, and then there's less of the semifinals, and then there's only one finals, and that's like, holy crap, that's who I have to put this on the line against.
Yeah, and
of course,
that's the thing. I have to keep watching the shows. We're right. Yeah, there's nobody's going to replace that or take that from you. That's yours. We all conspired to get that belt to you. It'll be a freaking Charlton Heston cold bed hands thing on that. But yeah, so now we're going to the second round. That means the pressure's turned up just a bit for this guy. Because I gotta start getting the question. I gotta make sure there's no repeats. I gotta make sure there's stuff you guys haven't even dreamed of in your heads before of answering. So yeah, it's pressure's on, folks, for everybody involved now.
Who won the opening match of the first episode of Lucha Underground? Jeez.
I couldn't even tell you who was on the first episode of Lucha Underground. Chavo Guerrero. Chavo Guerrero is always the answer. He's the freaking
I'll
42
laugh if I look that up, and that's right. I'm going to look that up right now. Just to,
okay. That's right. That's
so if you want to plug other stuff while I look it up.
Totally. Let me. Do I have it loaded? I think I have it loaded in here, the plugs. But tomorrow, at least on the Jeff Meacham Network side of things, anyway, we are going to have the dads, not always on wrestling, make their return after 2 weeks because we go every other week to allow the Renegade Reviews to get their rub on Fridays on the Jeff Network. Tomorrow, JJ and I are going to have close out our February stuff with our top 10 love songs and our top 10 breakup songs. Now, what that means is there will be a portion of the show where love songs are involved, and there'll be a portion of the show where a special guest that JJ brought in is going to talk about breakup songs, because apparently that person knows about recent breakups better than JJ or I, because JJ or I haven't had recent breakups for reasons none of your damn business. So that'll be tomorrow. So, and then, of course, Saturday and Sunday for me on the Twitter side of things, the NWO stream, the Big Old Belt stream. Looking forward to I think I'm on chapter 5 with the NWO, with Hogan's first actual in black heel appearance. Good stuff. And then on the Big Old Belt side of things, the first time the title actually changes hands out of the championship grasp of the Nature Boy at the Great American Bash in '86. And the dream comes true, baby, for the third time. And then on the 21st, all Sunday nights, the Chamber Watch Along. They better pad this show some more, because I mean, granted, the Chamber matches take a while. I'm not going to even front on that, but this is a pretty, not a weak build, but a weak presentation on paper. There's not a whole lot going on Sunday, so hopefully it gets better as we go on through SmackDown tomorrow.
Yeah, and we have no idea if the Raw Women's title match is even happening.
They advertised it, which we talked about yesterday, but yeah, I don't know. Weird.
So, you want to hear something funny?
Always.
Chavo was in the opening match of Lucha Underground, but he didn't win.
Right.
He lost to Blue Demon Jr.
But you know what? What's funny is that could be worded very well now that we know who's in it. If I really wanted to, but since it's kind of silly now. But yeah, I had no idea that Blue Demon Jr. was even on that show. I didn't even know he was a thing on there. That's interesting.
No, but it's funny you said Chavo. It's like, Chavo's probably a safe guess, but he was just on the losing end of that match.
Yeah, like I said, the whole, the cosmic answer is always 42. Chavo Guerrero is a safe answer when it comes to Lucha Underground, more often than not. So there you go. That's tremendous. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to what I'm doing this week, and I did kind of hem-haw and going on a week vacation next week. I'm not doing that now because I was talked off my freaking perch of crazy, but I do look forward to what's coming on this show, the Wrestling Trivia Challenge, again, because this is the one show that I'm involved in where I don't know what's going to happen for the most part until we sit here at 6:30, 6:40, whatever the case may be, on a given Thursday afternoon. And I like that. I like not knowing what I'm going to see and anticipating what's going to happen. We talked about it yesterday. The only match I've been there in person for, because I don't keep score, was the match in 2 weeks. And that was different to sit through also. So, I enjoy the thrill. Like I said, you watch stuff like Jeopardy and these other quiz shows on TV because they're intriguing. And when you have something like what happened with Jeopardy with Ken Jennings all those years ago, or with James Holhauser here recently, you don't know when the guy's going to lose. You don't know what's going to happen week to week, day to day. That's awesome for me as a sports fan, because there for a while there was no live sports to watch even without a crowd. So things like Jeopardy, things like this are just something we hold on to as bouts of normalcy in our lives. And I think it's wonderful to have that.
Yep. All right. So next week, right here on the Wrestling Trivia Challenge, you will see, exclusively on the Greg Cherry brand, I should say, you will see Scott Gata face off against Andrew Hayes. And then in 2 weeks, the final first round matchup, as Jeff mentioned, will be Colin Andrew versus Wrestle Talks Louis Dangor. So hopefully you guys join us for both of those matches and the post game immediately after. Thank you very much for sticking with us through this episode and through all the editing headaches I had to deal with last Friday. It literally took all day. It took it took like 12 hours to put that thing together, and I'm so glad it turned out.
Man.
It wasn't perfect, but it was presentable. That is all I wanted from it. And wow.
Like you said, you did a tremendous. Like, I would never have guessed you were dubbed over completely video. I would never have guessed that ever.
It took a couple takes, I will say that.
I'm sure,
but it was a process. But I'm glad it turned out presentable, and I think people will gain an appreciation after they watch that match and then watch this post show that. Yeah, it's not easy on the editing side, especially when you have a lot of production issues that you simply cannot fix in post.
No.
But in this instance, I've made chicken salad out of chicken shit. So
right. And you can't put a label, you can't put a price tag on passion and dedication and will and sheer strength of mind to not drive yourself so batshit you can't get what you got out of this match. And you did it, dude. So bravo. But until next week, this side. I'm looking at the camera. Opposite side. The West Coast Professor Jeff Meacham, yours truly, the greatest wrestling trivia mind ever. Hopefully I will see you guys next week here for the Wrestling Trivia Challenge, and maybe in 2 weeks on the bump. Crossing my fingers. But until then, have a great night, everybody. Enjoy the No DQ review tonight, and we will see you next week here on the Wrestling Trivia Challenge.